Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. You're somewhere in the world. It is some time where you are, but whatever place, whatever time, there is Rando. We have a matchup between our defending champion from last year, Kyong, who went undefeated in last year's spoiler tourney until a loss in the finals, against Relkin tonight, who was not in the spoiler tourney last year, so not much of a comparison to draw there. I am Penny Royal Oil, joined tonight by Sinek. How you doing?
I am doing excellent. This is going to be a great match. They're both really great players, and I'm looking forward to seeing some high tier action from the two of them.
Yeah, they should be very good. Kyong is an execution monster when it comes to Rando, which usually serves you pretty well in spoiler seeds, where you're usually ending up pretty low percent.
Oh, indeed. Kyong, completely crushed. Yeah, as you said before, he completely crushed last year's tournament, and he's, I would say, kind of a favorite to win this year. A heavy favorite. We won't know for certain, but anyway, they're off. There's something, yeah. The freest of bows.
Yeah, very nice friendly start, but not gonna need it for a little while probably, because you got a lot of other stuff open.
All right. Kyong is going for a Houlihan.
Yep, which pretty much means one thing in spoiler races and one thing only.
We're actually going to be talking to Zora for a change.
It looks that way, and Relkin going right into Blind's hut, so either there are bombs down here or he doesn't need the item from the bag. Not sure which, really.
Yeah, he's switching to those bombs. He's going to need them.
Yep, and gonna blow up the bag here, and I'm kind of curious always if he just doesn't mark down the particular chests he wants to open, or if he's just opening some extra stuff early to try to get a little bit of a bonus that he doesn't expect.
I mean, they're both viable ways to play, really. I mean, clearly opening up chests costs time, but that can be made up for in the stuff that you get.
Yeah, it's a lovely balance. These races are a lot different from general randomizer races in terms of the way you gotta think. So opening more chests is not always bad like it is in item rando.
Oh, safety well.
Yeah, that's two very nice bottles that are actually filled with useful stuff, so that's uncommon. We ignore the bottle vendor, come straight to the chicken hut. The item back here will obviously be useful, and, last bomb used up to get it, so hopefully useful enough.
Insert something about, flute and cack area. Oh my.
You always want it.
Relkin playing some tunes for us already.
So to give people a little bit of a lowdown on how these spoiler races work, as Relkin picks up a hookshot in the tavern, these runners were both given the spoiler log 15 minutes before the start of the race, and they were able to work their way through it, look up different items, look up what they need to beat the seed, and try to, as best as they can, plan a route through the seed to get through it as quickly as possible while getting everything they need. It's a very tempting thing. Hey, gloves on, sick kid. It's a very tempting thing to try to just, get the bare minimum info and focus on a route. It's also very tempting to get more info and focus on limiting chest opening. So there's a lot of strategies that have worked out pretty well for people in the past.
Yeah, it's like every runner kind of tackles these slightly differently during their study period. I've noticed that you'll never so if you go in the spoiler tournament Discord and you read in the general channel, there was a big discussion about how different people tackle the spoiler log in their 15 minutes, and everybody does it slightly differently. It's actually kind of cool to see.
And Kyong gonna take his turn activating the flute now, and Relkin's gonna come right over here and drop into the back of Escape, because there's another thing we're gonna want down here.
You know, I could have seen this Kyong doing that Houlihan just so he didn't have to really worry about money at all. Like, he didn't have to like go focus on like, where can I get money at for like the small things you're gonna need throughout the run. So that may be the only rupees he intentionally goes for.
Yeah, there may be a 300 he looked up that's somewhere nice and easy to access, and oh, 300 and Houlihan, there we go, that's good.
Yeah, that's true too. We'll have to see if either runner goes for Zora, I guess. They so far have it, but they don't have the money either, so.
And Relkin heading right up Death Mountain, having gotten that Titan's Mid. He is heading right up here, so we're going to see what all he's got available, but takes a death to the Cabbages of Doom. I swear, I don't know why that screen of Death Mountain was made the most dangerous screen in the game, but it sure was.
Especially with 4 hearts.
Yeah, which is, I mean, like, not even that much different than what you have in vanilla. See this comment in chat about the safeties being so free. They really have been early. Let's see, Paradox Cave, there are 7 items in here. We might see all of them, we might only see a couple of them. Kyong is showing us none of them, so looks like we're going that route.
Nothing in Paradox Cave, that's interesting.
Yeah, I feel like
we're interested.
But go ahead.
Well, we're interested in Spiral Cave.
Yeah, that's a rare trade when 7 items are nothing and the one over here that you really don't want to do has what you need. I will say though, at least they made it up here with the hookshot. This cave is a lot more annoying if you get up here with just the hammer and no other form of attack.
Kyong getting like a very lucky... Oh, there's our Moon Pearl. Getting a lucky full magic refill. That was pretty nice. Relkin not getting the same thing, unfortunately.
Yeah, that is very nice. It could even affect your routing depending on where bosses fall and everything. And we are leaving Death Mountain on Kyong's side, going straight into the Dark World.
So, because it's a spoiler voice, we don't get map checks or generally any type of checks at all. So what we do in the tracker is we mark the pendants and crystals, and also the medallion requirements from the spoiler log that we get when the race or when the study period started. So we have a Quake medallion at Misery Mire, we have an Ether medallion at Turtle Rock, our green pendant is Desert Palace, we have also pendants at Eastern and Turtle Rock, and we also have our 5-6 crystals at Tower Hera and Skull Woods. Yeah, Broken having to going in and grabbing that full magic there.
Yeah, I'm curious if there's something up here that he wants that Kyong didn't, or if it was maybe focused on trying to get that magic and maybe something else. I feel like Kyong would have followed along if this was anything immediately relevant.
Powder.
Okay, that was just a couple of extra safeties, not a bad thing to grab. Now Kyong making his way through Thieves Town. He's got 4 items in here, the first of which is a sword. It was real nice of the game to, put a sword in Crystal Thieves Town. It's almost like the game was actually being friendly for once. Oh, Kyong getting roughed up by the Zazax there in the front, but pops a red potion to keep himself safe.
And the full hearts seem to be... There's a decent number of full hearts that were accessible.
Yeah, having 3 extra heart containers 10 minutes into a spoiler seed is not really the common thing you see. I remember a few races last year, particularly that people were finishing on 3, 4 hearts. It was absurd.
During those qualifiers where... So the qualifier format last year was you had the entire 2.5 weeks of the qualifier period to play 3 seeds. You only got 1 shot at each seed with the retry on one of them. Kyong ended up practicing each of them 5 times each before actually doing the submission run. Was very dedicated. And got some really low times when you were able to study that long. I think Kyong had a 43-minute run, and then another, and a couple 48-minute runs or something like that. It was very fast.
Yeah, it sounds about right. He was pretty much in command of the tourney from start to finish last year, really.
Well, yeah, that number 1 seeding got you because we seeded off of that, and that gave you a very favorable seeding in that bracket.
So they are going down to the back of Thieves Town, going to pick up the maiden here. Obviously, Thieves Town is a crystal, so that's important. We also find out that the stun prize is a heart. I didn't think to look at that before the race. I did know that there was a second sword in Thieves Town, though, and it was fantastic.
So, for those who are just wondering, so the spoiler log, actually, we've modified it. We actually tell you what the stun prize is, along with the prizes for pulling the tree, rescuing a fish of all things, and also the tree crab, the bush crab that you can pick up. It spews items, and it'll tell you what it's going to be spewing.
Yeah, just one of those things when you're playing in these tournaments you really want to glance at, especially with that early hook shot. If you got a fairy or a heart like Kyong does, you can skip some of those safeties you might have otherwise routed in, and just rely on that instead.
We get a textbook blind kill.
Yep, very clean there. Now we are done with Thieves Town, and they've got a few options of where to go next. Some better than others, but... So we head south here. Kyong is going to make his way over and pick up our dear friend, the blacksmith. Because blacksmith was one of the few things in the seed that was just abhorrently rude. If you're picking up the blacksmith in a spoiler log race when you don't have the mirror, you know that it's required to do without the mirror, because otherwise it's so much slower. Relkin following up with another very good blind kill as Kyong walks the smith into his house. See very soon what made the smith worth doing without the mirror. Well, it was the mirror. I don't know about you, but I tend to put off blacksmith when I don't have mirror. So if this weren't a spoiler race, that would have taken a while.
Oh, indeed. It's not something that you just kind of go for normally. It's just really awkward to route. But in this case, it's the answer.
Yep, pretty much. Now heading down south out of Village of Outcasts on a return trip here. We'll see where he's off to next. Also worth noting, they still need to find the Fire Rod, the Cane of Samaria, and the Quake Medallion and the Hammer at the very least to beat this seed. So they still gotta find at least 4 things in the world. Depending on key layouts and different situations within the dungeon, you might need more, but just based on, what we can see as is, they need those 4 at the very least.
Hype Cave is going to have stuff, I think. Cape, kind of nice. Is there Zora money?
Yep, and a Bombos medallion. I'm kind of hoping he didn't go in there because of Bombos.
That would be pretty rude, wouldn't it?
It would be, and I'm not gonna lie, I did not look that super close to the spoiler, so I don't know if he did that for Bombos or not.
Well, he's gonna go to Floaty Island. And this might be an Ice Palace play.
It very well could be, but going back to Dark World.
My hopes were dashed.
So he is heading up north with no hammer. This is the only way to get to Pod, the Pyramid, and Catfish. So there's something over here on East Dark World that he wants. Looks like he is going to Pyramid. Okay, Pyramid Ledge it is. So far, these two have had very similar routes. Relkin routed in that extra little bit of safety up at Hookshot Cave. But besides that, him and Kyong have basically been lockstep the whole way through. And I'm interested what he just grabbed that 50 rupees for. He already had 550, which is enough for Zora. Already did the...
Pod money?
Already could have done the bottle vendor. Oh, pod money. Yeah. Good call. I'm done.
Oh no, I just saw that too. Don't worry. I was like, wait, all right. So, I mean, I think that pretty much confirms that like Zora has something that Kyong wants. Yeah, you don't go out of your way for that just for nothing.
Yeah, for sure. So, early-ish pod play, 18 minutes in. And of course, with the bow and the lamp, everything except the boss is in logic, so whatever he's here for, he's actually... the game knows he can be here for it. It's not anything wacky. And routing pod in spoiler races is one of the more interesting things and can eat up a lot of time if you try to route it in detail. because you got to work out exactly how many keys you need to move through the areas you want to go to. Where you're going to get those keys conveniently, it can be a lot.
Relkin, like, grabbing blue mail for the safeties.
And Kyong grabbing a compass because, you know, got to make sure you know where the boss is hiding.
So that's very hot intel right there.
It is. You know, the spoiler log tells you many things, but it doesn't tell you how to get to the boss room.
That's technically the truth.
Maybe one day it will tell you how to get to the boss room when we have, you know, door rando going full force.
A door rando would the door rando spoiler would tell you that.
I got an idea for the next spoiler tournament. Let's go.
Door, you evil man.
I try.
No.
So both of these two have made their way over to Pod, which pretty strongly suggests they can't really accomplish anything without coming here first.
Yeah, there's either a hammer here or something that leads to hammer. This is either going to be a double dip or we're going to find hammer.
It's always entertaining to me when watching these seeds in that the way you play a spoiler log seed just looks so entirely different from the way you watch people play normal seeds.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not even just that they're skipping stuff, just they're actively going out of their way to do things that in normal rando would seem like awful plays. It's fun.
It's like, yeah, who would do this blind? You had like so many more options available to you. But unless like they make a horrible mistake, there is something here.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if both of them made the same mistake. So I'm guessing that we can rely on. Oh, Quake. Okay, we do need that. So now the question is the hammer in Misery Mire, or is it hiding in here still somewhere?
Second key, that. Dark
okay,
maze.
using that to go dark maze.
It must be this upper chest or else. No. You can't try to predict what people do. It's hard. without the log, like, yeah, it's like hammer and pod. All wow.
Very, very close to vanilla. But I had something I was gonna say before the hammer popped up, and then oh yeah, the differences. It's kind of like watching two people do one mind. There's all these subtle differences about what they think on a seed that just add up to make something completely similar, but not anywhere near the same.
When are we doing a spoiler one-minded next GDQ?
I'm in for that. That sounds fun.
Sounds. Huh.
Fun may be an interesting word choice for the chaos that would become, but.
Alright, now I got my gears turning here, so I'll sit on that one for a little bit.
just no oven mitts, please.
We can't do that anymore.
That's true.
The days of that are over for a while. But anyway, back to this race here.
So we're making our way to Helmasaur. This is a little bit nicer than a all dungeons Helmasaur, but not much. In all dungeons you would have 5 hearts by now, so you know, you're a little bit better off.
You know what? That lamp is always nice. Yeah, without Fire Rod, that room can really be kind of nasty to deal with.
Yeah, you get like a 50-50 if you nail the NMG, you know, spin kill and get it in no time, or if you just get destroyed. So Helmosaur King, 17 slaps to the face with this hammer, followed by probably 4 hits to the face with the hammer afterwards. Maybe a spin in there somewhere. That was excellently timed to despawn that fireball without really wasting any time. Very, very nice Helmosaur.
Yeah, that Helmosaur fight brought a tear to my eye.
And hey, if you didn't have enough free safety in this seed, have the Kana burn it too. Because why not?
The freest of safeties.
So pod is complete. We got a hammer. We need at least a fire rod and the Kana Samaria. I mean, there could... Oh, go ahead.
I mean, these two have been pretty lockstep with each other for the most part. Like, Relkin's a little bit behind, but he's also picked up Blue Mail and grabbed a little bit more safety.
And Kyong is going to pick up this Blue Mail. I think this was a little bit slower than if he had neared in on his way over to pod. But he might have been trying to... He might have made the decision to come here for it mid-pod and gone back later.
Yeah, I'd say Relkin's only just a few seconds behind Kyong right now. Otherwise, they've got... Their loadouts are pretty much the same.
Oh yeah, good point in chat there. He might have made the decision by calculating his lead, because guess what, folks? In these spoiler races, you can watch the stream while you are playing, because you already know the seed, you're not getting any new info. So yeah, he could know exactly where Relkin is and know he has some free time, and figure might as well go grab it.
Alright, so... Both are grabbing the book, which leads me to believe that that's kind of important here. We probably have something on a tablet.
Yeah, we already have access to Desert, so it's gotta be a tablet or they just picked it up for funsies, one of the two. And at long last, we see Zora had Arcane of Samaria all along.
All along. All along. All along.
It's nice when he's not a ripoff, but that was a long walk for a cane. That happened earlier, they say, and hence the wonders of RNG. Sometimes the game just says, sure, I like this idea. So we are going straight down to Swamp. There's a crystal to be here, and if you're basically in the spoiler mode seed, you're always in go mode. So it really doesn't matter when you do Swamp, you just want to grab it when you're around. But there could be interesting stuff in here as well. So let's see, we head into Swamp Palace at 2756 for Kyong. We'll get a little bit of a comparison here when Relkin goes in. It's gonna be about a 15-second lead for Kyong in Swamp, which is sizable. It's not an easy thing to overcome in a seed like this, in a mode like this, where you don't really have the luck of the draw factor coming in. The early rooms of Swamp, pretty much straightforward. There, is that first chest. There was clearly nothing there. Then we'll see if they go straight to the back, if they go over to the left, if they, go to check the chest on the bottom. All of them could be different ideas of what's actually going on in this dungeon.
So this could be a scenario where your diver down execution can make a difference.
For sure, and Kyong is going left, so there is something over there.
It is gonna go do this diver down. So how this trick works, this is a relatively discovered and legalized trick, where there's actually only water tiles directly in front of that stairwell down where Kyong has just hopped into. So what you can do is you do some shenanigans with a bomb to basically clip into this rail here, and then you simply dive down into basically this water, but you're not in water. So you can grab this key.
Yeah, so interestingly, relkin went straight to the back. Kyong did not flip the blue switch because he's not going to be going to the chest on the right, presumably. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that's not an accident. But relkin going straight to the back is an interesting bit of divergence. Also, shout out to the fact that we saw both versions of Diver Down. Hey, the boots. It's the boots over here. Kyong wanted his boot. But yeah, there's relkin...
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say there were two setups for Diver Down, Bomb and Submaria, and we saw both of them at the same time, which was kind of entertaining.
Yeah. We'll have to see if relkin goes for those boots.
Yeah, that's, it would be slower to go after the boss, so I'm thinking they're not required and he might just skip them. Kyong might have leveraged his lead to go get something unrequired but nice to have and said, you know what? I can make up the time difference with the boots, so let's take them. Take a compass off the boss, take crystal number 3 from Argus relkin with the slight lead over Kyong at the end of Swamp.
Alright, so relkin is... Yep, he is out of here.
He paused for just a moment, like, am I really doing this? Kyong using poke dash strats to get down a chunk of Argus pretty quickly as relkin comes over to the Bombos tablet.
It's a fire rod.
Yep, and at that point, that is go mode. They have everything they need to clear the seed. So from this point on, it's just going to be a dungeon rush.
Dungeon rush, so relkin is a little bit ahead right now, but does not have boots. So we'll have to see how this plays out. And see how much that time Kyong spent in left side swamp can be made up. It's like you can just do stuff like that.
Yeah, like boots 100% save you time. I don't know if there's enough seed left for them to save that much time. But Kyong was looking like he had a little bit of an execution advantage to begin with, so the boots plus that might be enough to pull him back ahead.
What's in the big chest?
Small key? Okay, so we're going to the left side here. That makes more sense because I was very confused for a moment.
Half magic.
Yeah, okay, that's pretty nice.
Half magic is actually a pretty nice safety to have. you can afford to make more mistakes with your magic.
Yep, Kyong is making the play into Ice Palace earlier on, which is probably the dungeon where half magic benefits you most. So I would not be surprised to see him skip it.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think Kyong kind of signed the warrant on that half magic in his seed.
Like, you could still grab it for GT, especially depending on where the other two swords are. If you're going to be doing Master Sword Ganon, especially if you end up with Silverless, you might want half magic. But that, again, depends where these swords and silvers actually are. Instead, we're getting some nice icebreaker action here. Kyong not getting it on the first try. Second try it is. A little bit of a trick. You make the game think you're still in the door, so if you hit up or down, it just makes you move out of the door, and it pushes you right past that barrier. It's basically the strat based on what's awful about door pumping. And that is crystal number 4 for Relkin. Kyong heading down to Cold Stare to get his crystal number 4. So at this point, we're at basically a race of execution. In terms of the routing decisions are basically all made. There's not really a whole lot of variance left that you're going to see here. Kyong using Bombos to break the shell on Cold Stare, to use Fire Rod to kill him quickly. I like.
By getting him in the corner, you can. There we go. Good. And there goes Cold Stare. So, like, if you make the Fire Rod shots well, you can hit multiple eyeballs at the same time, or puff balls at the same time with that Fire Rod shot, and you can get them down pretty quick doing that.
Yeah, Fire Rod hitting Cold Stare for Gold Sword damage. It's stronger than the game ever intended you to have, weapon-wise, for Cold Stare. So now we get the Flute to 3 on Kyong's side. He's going to go do Skull Woods, and we'll see exactly where these two line up when they finish their respective dungeons here.
So there's a key there. That means that Relkin isn't going to have to lift that rock to get another key. You can just go. Like a common thing that'll happen is if you do Icebreaker and you forget to grab a small key, you could end up just rubbing up against that door and be like, I gotta go back downstairs. And stair clip.
Yeah, didn't get perfectly, kind of slid off to the left side, but still good enough to be pretty quick. So yeah, they are coming up on the respective bosses the others have already finished pretty much near the same time. Kyong notably not grabbing half magic, as we kinda guessed when he went to Ice Palace first.
Careful, Relkin. Alright, there we go. Alright.
Oh, that was close.
That was a very fast cold stare.
Yeah, that was a that was some high risk, high reward there. Got it very quick, but also only had one heart left at the end.
Kyong is on 2 hearts. Gets few more.
Moth
This is
being
the
very unfriendly.
Oh. All right. Finally gets Mothula to cooperate.
So Relkin entered into the mire area here at 39:30. We'll see when Kyong gets in there, get a good view of the distance between these two. But I'd give Relkin a pretty decent advantage right now. He's far enough ahead where he has to make a mistake, I think. I don't think Kyong's just gonna catch him by outplaying. I could be wrong there, but it's a solid probably 36 seconds, and there's not a whole lot left. So we're going into Misery Mire on both sides. These two, it is kind of a sign of how well matched they are, how similarly they've routed. The way you route and the choices you make in terms of what to do when tell you a lot about how confident you are with what the seed's asking. And when you make a lot of the same decisions, it usually means that you feel about the same about your skill as the other person. We are not going to be going to the left side here, getting the cutscene chest. Going to head up to the lobby one instead, which, as expected, is the big key. And we're getting down to the wire in terms of more item checks for, you know, safety items, things like the silvers, maybe a bloomerang. The dice rod isn't really a safety, but a couple swords are MIA. And we're getting kind of down to the wire in terms of where they could be. Going down to the bottom here. Relkin did not kick up any dust with his boots, so he does not plan on doing spooky action. We'll see if Kyong does so to save some time.
And at this point, it can be those seconds that can make the difference. I think
Pulling out the fire rod, it gets it.
Yep. Nice. Something and Scylla. That's how that works.
And as you can see, spooky action saved a lot of time for Kyong. He also routed the dungeon, I think, slightly differently. I might be wrong on that. But that made up a huge part of the lead that he did spooky and Relkin did not. And both runners having a little bit of trouble here.
The sink!
Yep, we are pretty much exactly tied up at the 6 crystal mark. This is all down to executing up Death Mountain through Tower of Hera and into GT. Both floating to 1, gonna land about the same time. Gonna go through these overworld screens. Dead rocks could make a difference. What a bad feeling, right? When you're in a race and it could come down to dead rock RNG screwing you over.
Yeah. Kyong really showing the power of boots at this point.
Now, interesting. Relkin making, I'm going to call it a bit of a mistake here. He should have gone up in the light world. It's a little bit quicker. He's already been through Super Bunny Cave. He actually going to gain some time on Kyong by going straight up to the T-Rock portal. Kyong, I'm guessing, is probably going to stop in the Hookshot Cave for those safeties Relkin got. But Relkin, having done so already, could have really just gone right up to T-Rock in the light world. And missing that hook clip did not help either. Kyong is, kind of notably ahead at the moment, but dropping into Hookshot Cave as mentioned, so they'll be kind of tied back up by the end of this again.
Just going for the powder, getting the heart.
And there we are. We're back in line. Actually, wait. Yeah, T-Rock still would have been quicker, but I did forget that we weren't actually going to T-Rock. Instead, we get to go to Tower of Hera for crystal number 7.
Kyong going for Hera Pot.
Getting it basically right away. Relkin having a little bit more trouble lining this up.
Must be something here. Silvers.
Very nice. Now, for anyone who may be wondering, the big key of Hera was hanging out down in the first item location, the little cage in the basement. So they wouldn't have really had to waste all that much time if they didn't know how to Hera pot, but it's still quicker anyway.
And Kyong takes a fall. That's gonna give Relkin the time he needs.
But Relkin
doesn't have
Relkin skipped silvers.
Mm-hmm. He's looking at a
If he's not routing in a tempered sword somewhere, that is a huge lead for Kyong that he did not grab those. So they've got the crystals about the same time. They'll be entering GT about the same time, but Kyong with a noticeable, probably minute-ish time save in the form of those silver arrows at the moment. Now Relkin going back in, he realized he meant to pick up silvers. So he is going to set up for another Hera pot. And then he'll head into GT once he picks those up.
I'll just say right now, what these two runners are doing makes this look really easy. It is far from that. This is probably the most stressful way to race Rando. And they're making it look like it's not that bad.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's you've got a lot on your mind at the very beginning, and then by the end you're sitting there in low percent execution battle, and it's it's a whole different ball game. It's a lot more akin to trying to get a PB in a non-randomized game than racing a randomizer, which are two very different experiences. So Relkin joins Kyong in GT. Kyong grabbed the big key from chest 1. I hope there's a key upstairs, because he didn't pick one up down here.
I mean, they both saw that, so sounds like a very likely scenario.
Okay, the way Relkin was moving left was making me think there was going to need to grab a key, and Kyong made a mistake, but he turned and went upstairs, so there must be something up here.
Yeah, I took a sneak peek. Yeah, they're both good.
To be fair, I also took a sneak peek. I was just kind of building the suspense a little bit for chat.
Sorry, chat. the ruiner of experiences, I guess.
I guess there is one other thing we could probably safely spoil by this point.
Probably.
Which is that the other two swords were interestingly also paired up, but we were never going to get them. They were both in T-Rock. So we are looking at a Master Sword Ganon fight coming up, which, to top off the Extreme Execution Challenge, that is a spoiler log race, we're getting Master Sword Ganon, the hard parts of Master Sword Ganon. So that's going to be great.
Our other armor that we didn't see was actually an Ice Rod Cave. So yeah, our red mail, we would have had to go to Ice Rod Cave for that.
Yep, the swords, if I remember what I read right, I think one of them was in like the first chest in T-Rock. So if you had to go in there for literally anything, it would have been on the way. But to go in there just for a sword is easily costing you more than it would save. It was interesting, though, how there were 2 swords in Thieves Town, 2 swords in T-Rock, and nothing else anywhere.
Rando be rando.
And yeah, Chad mentioning that the time lost picking up silvers would have been not worth it if there was a sword upstairs GT. That's basically why I felt safe telling everyone where they were early, because he wouldn't have done that if he was getting Tempered Sword. Oh, Kyong takes a fall to Trolldorm 2 after doing a nice little dash at him, which is actually very unsafe when fighting him in Master Sword, so... Excuse me, that was fantastic. I have not seen someone dodge Trolldorm with the hookshot and have his tail just happen to be in position for a swing. A spin, if I can speak. Be perfectly in position for a spin the moment that they let the hookshot come in. Here we are for Aga 2. Needs 6 of these little energy balls to hit him. Gets 2 in the first cycle.
Almost, that could have been a triple maybe, but it'd have been tight. And
the blue ball.
There we go.
So, this is not over yet, because Ganon with Master Sword is not easy. Even high caliber players of this game, even people with high execution, it's only a mistake or two at this low health from you having to start the fight all over. So, Kyong is very good. I don't expect him to die to Ganon, but he certainly could, and it would be more than enough for Relkin to catch up.
So he's going for Samaria spins. This is not as easy as it looks. Like, you just can't put down that block and spin. It won't work. You have to, like, push up against the block or something like that as you're doing the spins.
Yeah, it is one of the hardest strategies to do consistently to do well. And Kyong is just making it look even easy here. It causes a lot of lag, but it's well worth it. And this should be enough to finish off phase 2 here, so we will be into the easy part of the fight. Doesn't get that first hit, so we get a warp, gets the hit on number 2 as Relkin drops into the boss himself.
Now it's just a few more spins here. Relkin's also doing the Samaria spin strats.
Yep, it's far and away the fastest way to do this, despite, you know, being the hardest. Kyong, knowing he's got silver, is getting Torch Glitch, which he doesn't really need, but he gets it to make his life a little bit easier. Gets silver number 1 in.
Yeah, Relkin's a little lower on health now. Has to be careful. That is silver arrow number 4 on Kyong's side. Get your GGs in chat for Kyong. Relkin just behind is going to be able to finish this up pretty soon. This is a pretty close race.
Yeah, very good showing from these two. We knew it was going to be a good race at the get-go, and they very much delivered on what we expected throughout tonight. And we can say that Kyong finished in first place with a time of 1:11:01. Minus the 15 minutes is 56:01 in terms of the actual run time. So, well under an hour. Extremely good.
And from the sounds of it there, Relkin has finished.
Yep, that is Ganon number 2 complete. GG to Relkin as well.
And Relkin is also finished with an SRL time of 1:12:07 minus 15 minutes would be 57:07.
So just over a minute between the two. Big difference was spooky action, but there were a couple other little things along that ending streak that combined with the boots just gave Kyong a bit of a leg up. Spooky action saved him a lot of times, which Relkin could have done. The boots kicking up dust is the way people normally try, but you can shoot off a fire rod shot and use that to hold the altitude variable, which is still a little bit quicker, but you lose a lot of the time save that way.
And now we have brought in Kyong and Relkin. GG's to the both of you.
Thank you. GG's.
Hey, GG's.
So that was a pretty close race. You were trading places a little bit through it.
Definitely not a trivial seed, I'd say. Although it wasn't on the worst camp, but I definitely made a couple mistakes. I completely forgot about the rupees inside pod. Not super used to routing Zora seeds.
Oh, really? You didn't get all the loads of money by the Quake Battalion?
I got the rupees on the pyramid on the pyramid when I didn't really need them because I was going to pod anyways afterwards. So I ended up with like 100 rupees over.
I was actually short some money, and thankfully the turtles on the way to Helmasaur dropped a big 20, which put me over 500.
Yeah, I ended up doing Holy Han.
So, how do you guys like those swords?
You know, I was strongly debating grabbing the Ether Medallion,
Same.
but I was like, well, since silvers are like super convenient, I'm not gonna bother.
I'm still, yeah, I'm not sure if it was worth it or not. I think it's pretty close actually, because we could just got Ether on Desert Ledge, and it's first chest in Turtle Rock Ring. It's not that bad.
Yeah, of course that makes you sit through the cutscene of opening it.
Yeah. It makes Moldorm slightly slower, makes GT much safer and cleaner usually. I wouldn't fault anybody for doing either, honestly.
Also, shout out to Kyong for that that hook shot through Moldorm 2 that just happened to like go in time to spin him.
Yeah, like I knew about that doing that strat. I should apply it more often, but that was actually the first time I actually done, and definitely it was definitely worth it in that situation.
Very, very nice.
Yeah, Moldorms were my bane in the seed.
It wasn't enough though. I needed them to keep helping.
And Roken, I saw you in the SRL chat talking about the boots that you thought wouldn't help. I think you can make a very good case for both of the plays you guys made, skipping them and not. But I think, you know, if you hadn't had the little mishap in Hera, it probably would have been about even in terms of the race. So it kind of goes to show that they were not a huge difference maker.
I still think that Kyong would barely edge me out there. I think it doesn't. I think it took less than a minute for me to go back to get silvers, so it wouldn't have like pushed me to victory, but it would have made it a lot closer for sure.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at. Is it's, you know, it helped cause the result, but I don't think it was, you know, a deciding factor. It wasn't who got the boots, who didn't. It was just kind of it helped, but. So, Kyong, I do feel obligated to ask. During the spoiler tourney last year, you know, you went undefeated up until the finals. You gonna try to pull that off again?
I mean, I'll try my best, I guess. I can't say much more than that.
Yeah, the Swift format is going to create a little bit more uncertainty on that front, I would say.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah, if you can manage to go undefeated through 7 rounds of Swiss, that's something.
We'll only have one undefeated person in the Swiss after 7 rounds, at least according to the math. Yeah, and then we'll have like 3 that have lost 1, and then like 10 that are like 4-2, or 5-2. All right. So Relka and Kyong, any final thoughts before we wrap this up?
Kyong, can you stop getting in my way in these tournaments? Like, let's the league, and now this.
Hey, you guys took our single point in the group stage. That's that. I mean, it's Swiss, right? So we're not gonna be facing until the top 8 So see you then. I guess.
Yeah, I'll get my revenge someday.
That getting in that top 8 is going to be super competitive.
Yeah, we shall see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I basically view Swiss as a double elimination bracket to where you can actually keep playing after you're eliminated if you, which is nice, definitely. And with 7 rounds, it's a really long number of rounds, so it's definitely not gonna be easy.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and we'll just wrap this up. First of all, I'd like to thank Adalor, our tracker for this evening. Kept everything lit up on the screen so we knew what was going on. Thank you so much. You're awesome. That's it for this channel. There might be some stuff on here afterwards. I'm not sure about SpeedGaming 1. But if you want more spoiler tournament action, SpeedGaming 5, there is Ye Old Fart Gamer versus Pork Collector. That started just a little bit ago. And there's also on SpeedGaming 6, Sailor Net versus Orange. That also just started as well. I'd recommend checking those out. Those are our last spoiler races for tonight. Then we have 3 more tomorrow. Ninban versus Literally Jen, Sir Linkalot versus OS28, and then Vert's 505 versus F Coughlin. And then that will be it for round 1. And then it'll be nice. Actually, the round will be early. Like, everybody scheduled their stuff before the deadline. It was awesome. So we'll be able to get round 2 started on that Monday and get things going, which will be pretty nice.
Assuming challenge doesn't break.
I think with 64 players, it's not going to be a problem. It's for context for people out there. Like, we used challenge for a tournament that had 512 people, and it was a Swiss. And that, yeah, challenge did not scale to that. So
Not at all.
that's kind of where that joke comes from. I think it'll be fine with 64 players. I don't think we'll have to get challenge support for help.
I'm thinking you're right.
But anyway, that's it for Penny Royal Oil and I. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good night, I guess.
Maybe, but I'm going to go with more confidence. Have a good night, everyone.
Yeah. Have a good night.